Discovered my wife's secret cruise with her affair partner, so I turned her dream vacation into her worst nightmare. Hey Reddit. I've been married to my wife, Claire, for 8 years. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but I always believed we were solid. Or at least I did until I stumbled upon her not-so-secret secret, a cruise vacation she was planning not with me, but with her so-called coworker Mike. It started when I noticed she was being weirdly protective of her phone. Claire has never been one to hide things, so it raised a red flag. One night, while she was in the shower, I finally gave in to my suspicions and checked her phone. My heart sank as I read the messages between her and Mike. They were planning a romantic cruise and discussing how they could keep it hidden from me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I sat there, stunned. The woman I loved was planning to go on a luxury cruise with her affair partner. Betrayal is a strange thing, it hurts, but it also makes you think quickly. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I decided to play the long game. If she wanted to play dirty, I'd show her I could play smarter. Over the next few days, I gathered as much information as I could. I learned the cruise was set to leave in 3 weeks. She had already booked their tickets using our joint account. Talk about bold. But here's the kicker, Claire didn't realize I'm the one who handles all the finances, so I had access to every detail. I decided to let her dig her own grave. She kept acting like nothing was wrong, even telling me she had a work conference around the same time as the cruise. I pretended to believe her. Meanwhile, I quietly canceled her ticket and replaced it with one in my name. I also called the cruise line to let them know about fraudulent charges on Mike's ticket. They canceled his reservation without hesitation. Update. The day of the cruise arrived. Claire was buzzing with excitement, claiming she was nervous about her big presentation at the conference. I played along, wishing her good luck and offering to drop her off at the airport. She declined, saying a coworker was picking her up. Of course, I knew the coworker was Mike. After she left, I grabbed my packed bag and headed to the cruise terminal. I arrived early, checked in, and found my way to the deck, where I had a perfect view of everyone boarding. Sure enough, Claire showed up alone, looking confused. I guess Mike hadn't told her his ticket was cancelled yet. I stayed out of sight and waited until we set sail. Once we were well out at sea, I approached her. The look on her face when she saw me was priceless. She turned pale and stammered, trying to come up with an excuse. I didn't give her the chance. I told her I knew everything about her affair, the cruise, and her lies. She tried to deny it at first, but when I mentioned the texts and the joint account, she broke down. She begged me not to cause a scene, which was ironic considering she was the one who had planned to sneak away with her lover. I told her this was her problem to fix and walked away. I spent the rest of the cruise enjoying the amenities and making friends with other passengers. Claire, meanwhile, was left to explain why she was suddenly on vacation with her husband instead of her affair partner. Another update. Claire spent the next few days trying to fix things. She followed me around the ship, apologizing and promising she'd cut things off with Mike. She even tried to blame the affair on our communication issues. I wasn't buying it. I told her she could spend the rest of the cruise thinking about her choices because I wasn't interested in her excuses. Then I made sure to have as much fun as possible. I joined group excursions, attended parties, and even signed up for a cooking class. Every time I saw Claire sulking by herself, it felt like a small victory. Halfway through the cruise, I got a message from one of our mutual friends. Apparently, Claire had tried to call Mike as soon as she realized he wasn't coming. He had ghosted her completely, probably embarrassed that he couldn't explain the ticket fiasco. Our friend said Mike had been bragging about the trip to a few people at work, and now he was the office laughingstock. I couldn't help but laugh. Karma has a funny way of working itself out. Final update. By the end of the cruise, I had made my decision. I wasn't going to stay in a marriage built on lies and betrayal. On the last night of the trip, I handed Claire an envelope. Inside was a copy of the divorce papers I had already filed. She cried and begged me to reconsider, but I told her my mind was made up. She had destroyed my trust, and without that, there was no foundation left for us to rebuild. When we docked, I didn't even wait for her. I took a cab straight to a hotel and started the next chapter of my life. Claire went back to an empty house, and as far as I'm concerned, she can keep it. I've already started looking for a new place, and I'm excited to move on. To anyone reading this, I know revenge doesn't fix everything, but sometimes it's the only way to regain your power. Claire thought she was outsmarting me, but in the end, I made sure she knew exactly how it feels to be betrayed. Thanks for all the support in the comments. Here's to new beginnings.